My mic on. Hello, hello. How's things, brother? Is the volume all good? Alrighty. Let's see what we got today. Leg entanglements. Okay. Thank you. The barber's finally open. Alright, so today's plan is we're going to learn all the leg lock positional or leg entanglement kind of positions. Right, so by the end of the class we should be able to name all of them and know what they look like, so in the future when I do the entry class and the submission class, we know all the leg positionings and etc. Sounds good? Let's go over here. Perfect. Morning, Dave. So let's go for it. I'll start in a second. Let me just get my drawing tool out. I always forget. Here it is. Check if it's working. Perfect. Alright. So we're going to start with our regular ones, and then we'll move on to the more complicated one. But it's quite a straightforward lesson. It should be a short lesson as well. But let's just make sure everyone understands where they are. I'm not doing any counters today, and I'm not doing any attacks, just to make everything nice and simple. So today we're just going to learn the positions. So the first one up is, whoops, they might have different names as well. I'll try to name them as much as I can so you guys know at least one of their names, or some of them will be familiar to you. First one is standard ashi, or we call it one leg X sometimes. My mouse broken. Okay, which is this position there. Right, we will do entries in the future and etc. But your standard entry, if you guys remember, would be kind of just either a drop to a foot lock like this, or from the bottom you have like your shin to shin entry and etc. Okay, but this is our standard ashi. Now the biggest thing I want you guys to learn about first is their names, obviously, which position they are, but there's a difference between leaning one way and leaning to the other side. Okay, and one side's called the strong side, the other one's called the weak side. They're not necessarily, yeah, the strong side is usually a little bit better, but the weak side doesn't mean like the guy's gonna escape or whatever, but it is towards the escaping side, so it's a bit easier for the person to get out. But so this is our standard ashi, where we have the foot on the hip, the other one's clamped in, either hooking the other leg or just staying very tight. So the photo shows it best, but this is how you normally would be. And we usually go for foot locks, heel hooks, etc. from here, or we just get up to go for a knee slice of some sort. Okay, but this again, standard ashi or one leg X, are both valid names. This is also me leaning towards the strong side, which is kind of the belly down side. Okay, now we've got weak side, same position. The easiest way to know if you're on the weak side is the side that you usually reap. so that makes it a little bit easier to remember for beginners. Okay, so this is again same exact position, but I'm gonna change it into a reap by pulling the knee across, and now we're into the weak side of the standard ashi. Okay, in gi comps you're not allowed to do this, but in no gi submission only and heel hook system, it's completely fine. Okay, so just remember that as well for the beginners. And again, there's lots of stuff that you can go from here, but your primary one would be usually the heel hook from there. Okay, so now we understand the difference between a strong side and a weak side. It should be a bit clear. And for pretty much half of our positionings, the weak side and the strong side are going to be exactly the same. Is that clear? You guys understand that bit? So this example here, we're going to see a lot from all of the positions. Everyone good? So moving on, so we have our standard ashi. Next up, it's outside ashi. Some people know it as belly down footlock as well. So I'll put that in here as well. Outside ashi is simply, so this is our standard ashi position. When I bring my leg over to the other side, that becomes outside ashi. Okay, or double outside, some people call it. I think there's some other names, but I can't remember them. These are the only ones I can remember. The leg positioning can be varied. Okay, you can have quite a few different. You can triangle your legs, you can cross them, you can flare your knee. A lot of people play different types, but again, I'm not showing any attacks here, so I'm just crossing my feet here. And basically, again, for all of these, it's either going to be footlocks or heel hooks in all of the cases. And this is me leaning towards the strong side. Okay, normally you know this because it's a belly down, so usually when we throw that leg over in a footlock scenario, right, we would bring that leg over and we'll go completely belly down towards that side and try to finish the footlock. Okay, so again, that's our outside ashi. I'm just gonna put strong side in here just so you remember. And just like before, we're gonna get into outside ashi again, and if I reap the knee to the other side, that's the weak side once more. Thing to know, whenever you're in the weak side, it's a lot easier for you to dig for the heel because it exposes the heel. Okay, but at the same time, it's easier for the person to escape. On the strong side, everything is a bit harder, but it's a lot more powerful in terms of finishing power. But it's not as easy to get the heel. So you got little minor flaws with each one of them. You definitely need to be, it's definitely a lot harder to find the heel in this scenario, but once you get it, it's quite powerful. Okay, so we dealt with standard ashi, outside ashi, quite simple. Belly down and the reaping versions. Next up, inside ashi. Some people call it game over. In simple terms, it's a reap with your legs inside. And it looks like this. So this is from standard ashi, but you can transition it any way you can. But basically means if I can get my leg on the inside and triangle my legs, that's what we call inside ashi or game over. And you can see we've got that little bend of the knee there, and we tend to control this leg at the same time. So you will see this a lot further on why we use this quite a bit when we do the saddle lessons. But for now, all you need to know is just where the legs are to become inside ashi. So for you to get inside ashi, you're gonna have to do a reap followed by that entanglement of the leg there, and then you're there. Okay, and again you have the strong side if you lean this way, and the weak side if you lean that way. Little tips that I can give through every time you do these positions, okay? In any sort of scenario, you've got to have the person's knee line to be able to do this effectively, okay? If you're below the knee line, the person's already basically out, okay? So for all of these transitions, you've got to make sure the knee line is nice and controlled. As long as you do that rule, you should be good. So far, standard ashi, outside ashi, or double outside, we call it sometimes, okay? Inside ashi, which is the game over position. Next up, cross ashi, which we know as leg drag sometimes, which basically is this across. Okay, so that's our leg drag position, or cross ashi they call it. If I were to get up here, you would see that we're exactly in a leg drag scenario, but the main difference is we have this foot on the hip. Okay, if we were standing, that would normally be on the floor. Not much to say about cross ashi. It's just the foot across. Again, foot locks, heel hooks, they're over here. Again, we kind of have the strong side and the weak side if we change towards the other side. Normally we'll never kind of go to the weak side from this scenario, because you actually don't have the person tied up. So if they turn in that direction, they'll hide the heel and they can just stand up and push this knee to clear off. But cross ashi, again, just that across. And I'm just showing you very simple entries here, or transitions, but there's countless ways of actually getting to this spot in different sort of styles. Next up to cross ashi, something very familiar, 50-50. So here, that's cross ashi. Difference between cross ashi and 50-50 is just our leg going through. So now we're in exact same position of the leg entanglement. That's our 50-50. Happy days again. Cool, so nothing different from, well, except for the leg. Okay, and I think everyone knows 50-50 by now. Again, so many different ways of positioning yourself and getting yourself into this little slice. But the next one is the one that people not aware of as much, which is called 80-20. The main difference between 80-20 and 50-50 is this little shrimp that I'm gonna do. Okay, which is coming right up. So I'm here, a shrimp, and that's 80-20. And the main reason why it's 80-20, right, is from 50-50 here, it's an equal fight between me and Kiwi over here. She can attack my foot most of the time, and she's got control of my knee. And I got control of her knee, and I can attack her foot. But when I do the shrimp over here, I'm clearing my knee. Okay, so she doesn't have any knee control over me, but I still have knee control over her. So I can attack her, but it's very unlikely that she can attack this foot here. So that's why we call it 80-20. So it's 80 towards me, 20 towards her. Okay, that's all there is to it between 50-50 and 80-20. So anytime you are in a 50-50 battle, you're usually fighting for who can go to 80-20. And the person who gets to 80-20 has a slight advantage over the other person. What will normally happen is both of you will try to get to the 80-20 position, and you both clear your knee outs, and you probably both escape each other's attacks. Or one will beat the other one to the race and get a heel hook. Happy with those? Am I going too fast? Don't worry, we'll do a little quiz at the end to make sure everyone's got all the names and leg positions correct. Hopefully we'll get it. Any questions so far about any of these positions that we're unsure of? Just let me know and I'll stop. Let me just check this before I move on. Just reading my notes to see if I forgot anything to mention. I think we're good so far. Next up, well, there's a lot more leg entanglement positions, but these are, well, all of the other ones will be a form of these. So there's nothing new that you're gonna learn, except for you might learn the same exact position but upside down or inverted or in different little segments or different leg positions. But if you know these names, you probably know half of, I'd say more than half, about 90% of the leg locks come from all of these. Okay, the ones that I haven't showed would normally be 411 upside down, or outside ashi upside down. They have different names, but they're exactly the same position in terms of thing. Ginger always comes in to fight with Steve. Why don't you like his good morning? He's strong. Alright, last up is the saddle or the 411. Honey Ho. I think that's all of their names. Oh, there's a Sankaku. Don't know how to spell that. Let's put Sankaku like this. What else we got? Honey Ho. I think that's all their names. Yeah. But probably the most famous one out of all of them. Probably the most popular one out of all of them. The saddle. Let's see. This is just again an unlikely transition, but it can happen. So we're hearing cross ashi, correct? Everyone remembers cross ashi? Perfect. Main difference between saddle and the cross ashi is my legs are gonna tangle in, and that becomes 411. Okay. Now I don't know why they call it saddle. But 411 makes sense to me because you're making a 4 here with your legs and an 11 here with Kirsten's leg. Sankaku is the Japanese name. Honey Ho, Eddie Bravo name or 10th planet. Why you gotta bring Jada Smith into? Kirsten brought it up too. Jesus Christ. That's not what I wasn't. That wasn't what I was going for. I'm gonna make memes of my lesson because I said leg entanglement. It is trending. Different type of entanglement here. Leg locks. Maybe she meant leg locks when she meant entanglements. Complicated entanglements. She was learning all the heel hooks. But anyway, this is our saddle position, okay? 1,000 ways of getting into it, but just remember the legs. There's a triangle involved in there, and you usually want to control both of their legs for optimal control. And again, we're following that rule of having the person's knee line. Okay? So, main difference between, this is where it gets complicated, right? Let's go to our game over position. Where is it? Have I lost it already? Outside, put it down, inside ashi. Here we go. So, who can tell me the difference between saddle, which is this position here, and inside ashi? See if we got any smart asses in the class. So that's inside ashi, which is again the triangle and the 11, and this is the saddle here. Let's see if people get it. Alright, so we go out. The knee positioning, Steve leg is on the other side, knee is on the inside. Ginger sees no difference. So we've got one person who got it right. Brownie points for Steven. Main difference between the saddle and the game over position or inside ashi is, you see this leg here? In the saddle, it's a cross on this side. On inside ashi, all we gotta do is bring this leg to this side. So we see inside ashi is on this side. Cool. This is an important transition. The main reason is we're gonna learn it when we do the transitions class. But one of my partner's escape from the saddle is to do what we call a running man, which means they run towards that direction there by turning their hips. So when they do, one of your counters is to transition to inside ashi or game over by bringing this leg to that direction there. So it's a very important transition for you to learn, or at least know the difference between the inside position and the saddle. Okay? Because for both of escapes and for both of attacks, if you don't know which way to turn, you might hurt your knee and etc. But hopefully you at least know where you are. Even if you get tapped, you know you got tapped from a saddle or inside ashi. Happy with those? So hopefully, I'm gonna go for it one more time, and then we should be able to get all their names correct, or at least know all the leg entanglements. So we have standard ashi, which is one leg X. Everyone knows this by now. Main thing that I want to learn from this is which is the strong side, which is the weak side. Okay, reap always means weak side. I was gonna sneeze. We have outside ashi, which means belly down footlock, or both of my legs on the outside. And again, follows the same rules as stand ashi. If I turn to the other side, it becomes a reap, and it becomes the weak side. We have cross ashi, which I'd also call it leg drags. Okay, cross ashi and leg drags, they're pretty much the same move. Normally we just want to stay on the strong side for this. 50-50, pretty much same thing as cross ashi, but our leg is through. Boom. The tricky one, 80-20, which just means I'm gonna shrimp and clear my knee line. Which is this bit here. That's 80-20 towards me. And saddle, which again, there's so many transitions to this, but there's a saddle, sankaku, honey hole, whatever you want to call it, and inside ashi or game over, which is this. Boom, perfect. Okay, so let's take their names out and see if people can spot the positions. Let's see. All right. Let's skip a little bit. What's going on? Oh, that's the different. You guys don't know what this is. It's okay. It's my dummy email for spam mails. No wonder I got hacked. Yeah, it's my spam email for like sign-ups for free stuff. It's all good. And I've changed the password already. Alright. And the other one is my gaming account. You can't, if you don't know what game it is, you can't hack it. Let's see. Quiz time. And I forget that passwords like every week, so I have like 1,000. Let's see. So, what's this position? Stand ashi, happy days. Perfect. Let's see what I'm gonna do here. Let's see what's next. What do we call this position here? Outside ashi, happy days. 2 right answers. Which belly down. Haven't gone belly down yet. And maybe I confused you guys by saying belly down. Forget I said belly down. Ginger, what's going on here? Standard honey hole. Let's see, what side am I on? Strong side or weak side on this one? Beautiful, strong side, fantastic. Oh, I forgot to change this one. Let me mess them up so I don't even know. Now we're talking. Alright. Did I just go to the same one? Yep. Alright. Any takers on this one? Weak side, outside ashi. Fantastic. Very good. Again, easy way to remember, anytime you're reaping someone's knee, that usually means it's from the outside ashi. Well, not outside ashi, I mean it's weak side. Not allowed to do this in gi, just remember that. Next up, takers on this one. It's a hard one. Ginger should get this one. The outside ashi one, I don't. It's a reap because you're going to the reaping side, but you're not actually physically reaping it. But you still get DQ'd for it, surprisingly. I just mean you can't turn to that direction. Yeah, the foot never crosses the knee line, but you can't turn in that direction. Yeah. Only if you forced it. If the guy does it, it's okay. So that was cross ashi. Not 50-50. Cross ashi or leg drag. I would have taken any of those. Saved yourself there. Next one. What's this one? Ooh, 80-20. Sorry, Lewis. Very nice. You guys noticed the shrimp? Difference between 50-50. This would have been 50-50. When I shrimp there, it became 80-20. Again, anytime you guys are on 50-50, you guys want to get into 80-20. Right? Next up. There we go, the hard ones now. Try to pose it right at the end. What's this one? What do we have? Game over, 50-50, saddle, nope, game over. Game over. This one is game over or inside ashi. Very nice. Unlucky. So that's it. Game over, sorry. I think done that one. Alright. This is your time now, Lewis. What's this one? 50-50, yeah. Alright, we're missing one. Not that one. Not that one. Alright. This one over here. Beautiful saddle. Fantastic. Really nice, guys. So now you should be able to spot any leg entanglement that you get in. Like I said, it's really important to know their names. At least know where you are, which is the strong side, which is the weak side. We're obviously gonna do the escapes at some point and the attacks, but it makes it harder for me to teach everyone if you guys don't know these positions and how your leg's supposed to be and which is the strong side, which is the weak side. It makes it easier for you to understand the attacks and the escapes and why we do them a lot easier. Okay, so is it weak for them? Weak side, it's like I wouldn't take the name very I wouldn't be strict about it. It's not like the back where the weak side is far superior. But it's called the weak side usually because it's the direction towards most of the escapes. Okay, there is some scenarios which that I can think of only usually outside ashi, which you actually can defend by going towards the strong side. Okay, but weak side just usually means reaping side, but it's just weak because there's a few more escapes the person can do, but doesn't necessarily mean it's really easy to get out. The weak side is still very strong. They should be call it reap. I should call it reap side, but yeah, it's just so you don't confuse people. But because we use it so much in the back system, the weak side and the strong side, people use it for legs as well. But just like the back, you can still choke someone out from the weak side and the strong side, so it doesn't really matter. Cool. So, homework for you guys this weekend, or this week. I can't show any. Let me see if I can find any non-copyright fights. No. Let's see. All we can do is trying to find. I don't think we can get busted for using Russ's videos. Here you go. What you guys can do is find any. You can find any leg locker video, or let's take Ross for example here. But I want him to actually leg lock people, don't armbar them. And let's see, I think it's a leg lock one. There, and start noticing the positions he get into. So skip that. Let's see this one. So here, what's this position here? Any takers? What's going on this weak side? What? sponsors. No one remembers this. What did you guys learn today? What's this position called? Saddle. Fantastic. You see, so you can find these videos and just look at all the leg entanglements. Yeah, see if there's another leg lock somewhere here. That's IPJJF. There's no leg locks. Need Ross to do leg locks, but he's not doing it. Here we go. But you guys get the idea. Find the fight. Here we go. What's this position here? You can just start noticing. So that's a heel hook. What side we're on here. So that's standard ashi on the weak side. The guy rose, becomes the strong side. Keeps rolling. Changes into double outside over there. There's a saddle position there. She loses it. But you can, guys can start to understand the leg system by watching these fights. Okay? And you can always get back to here if you don't understand any of the leg locks, and you can understand. Cool? I'll link it down so you guys can watch it. But you can find any leg locker that you like. You got Lackland Joust, all those Danaher guys, and you should be able to spot all of those leg scenarios that you find. You might not recognize the entries yet because we haven't done any entries, but you should be able to find them. Cool. Let's see. What's Pearl Jam? Is that another weird name for leg locks or something? Confused. Anyway, that is it for today, chaps. Next on Friday we'll do the entries to all of these, at least one, a top and a bottom entry, so you guys remember. But any questions, fire them away now. Otherwise, have a great week. I'll see you all on Friday. I'll be there on Friday this time, not on Thursday. No problem. We got good news from the gym as well, so hopefully we can start rolling soon. Exactly. Take care. Alright. See you guys.